Hello and welcome to Chasing Growth. The purpose is to encourage Christian leaders to get better. When you get better, everybody wins in your house, in your company, in your church, in your nonprofit, etc. The world just get a little bit better because you are growing, you're getting better. If you're not growing, you are dying. So we want to do something about it and we want to keep moving forward. And today, I want to talk about this idea of a balanced life. What comes to mind when you think about it? What comes to mind when you think the word balanced life? You know, when you think that phrase. A lot of time people think about doing a lot of little things, you know, a little bit of church, a little bit of family time, a little bit of rest, a little of this, a little of that. And they're doing a lot of things, but without really a direction. Sometimes when people think about a balanced life, they say things like you have to learn to say no, or you have to learn to add and subtract, and you have to learn to manage yourself and know the time, etc. And they say all kind of stuff related to trying to be balanced, trying to have a balanced life. You see people today and the way they live their life, they try to have they call it a balanced life as in the family. So they go to work, they come back to work, they're running so they can invest in their kids, and they take their kids to all these different sports, you know, baseball, basketball. And the reality is that more than likely your kids, they won't be professional athletes, because more than likely in many cases you are paying for them to do the sport, or you have to be involved, and probably they're average. And you're running because you don't want your kid to miss out. Maybe the things that you miss out, or maybe you're trying to live your experiences through them, so they can have the same experiences in better, etc. And people does those things, so they're trying to have a balanced life that way. And sometimes when we think about balanced life, it's a comparison. You know, it's a comparison. People compare their life to other people, and they see how other people does things. Oh, and they get to do all that stuff, and they go to Disney, and they do this. Now, social media doesn't help with this, because you see all these stories, all these people living their life, and it's all great. And the reality is that they living a life that there is balance, but balance to nothing. It's just a bunch of different things happening in a fast way, trying to touch all these different areas of their life, and they're constantly running. So that's also a mistake. So whatever it comes to mind when you think about a balanced life, I want to tell you today, I want to invite you to don't live a balanced life. Live an unbalanced life. And you may be thinking, what he's talking about. So I want to invite you to lean on something, not to just have a balanced life that compared to other people, or a balanced life that is like somebody else, or somebody else approve your life because you're doing all the things you're supposed to do as a father, or whatever as a husband, or whatever the culture is telling you, all the things you're supposed to do, you know. I want to invite you to live in freedom, living a life that is no balance. And this is what I mean. You can be odd. You don't have to have your kids in every sport. You don't need to have or go to every activity. You don't have to all these things. And the best thing that can happen to you is that you don't live a balanced life, and you discover those 1 to maybe 3 things, maybe 5 max, those 3 to 5 things that are really important for you. Really important for you. Instead to live a balanced life, ask yourself this question: what is important for you? And answer that question. When you can answer that question, then you can realize the things that you have to do to make sure that those things happen. So for you, for example, living a healthy life may be a very important thing, and maybe that doesn't satisfy your neighbor or how the people think, or maybe they think that you're selfish because you want to live a healthy life. Listen, you don't have to please anybody, and if that's a priority for you, make it a priority. That's what you want. Live a healthy life. So that means you don't buy things. You don't drink Coke, and you don't ever have Coke in your house. And then you invite people, you serve water. I don't know. But you don't want to live a balanced life when you have, in other words, you pretty much lukewarm because you're a little bit of everything. No, you don't want to be that. You want to find those 3 to 5 max priorities, and hopefully less, as less as you can go, and this is the best. Because then when you have these priorities, when you have this list of very specific things, and I'm not talking about things like they're not specific. If you say, You say things, family is important, work is important, and church is important. Okay, that's not specific at all, because family, what are you talking about? Are you talking about your kid, your wife, your relative, your parents, your in-laws? Who are you talking about? If you're talking about your work, are you talking about the work, specific work that you do? Are you talking about your coworkers? Are you talking about your organization? What are you talking about? If you're talking about church, are you talking about what exactly? Just going to church, your small group? You're talking about learning, maybe getting, uh, following a direction of ministry. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. So you want to be very specific with these priorities. You want to be very specific with your priorities, and I'm gonna share mine. So hopefully that will help you. And then again, these priorities can change with your life when your life change, with your life situation, with the seasons of life, and that's fine too. But you gotta ask yourself, what do you want? What is important for you at this very moment? Instead to look around and look up, look exactly where you at and ask yourself, what is important at this moment? So for me, for example, at this moment in my life, what is important? My wife is very important. It's very important for me to be the best husband for her and have a great relationship with her. It's very important for me to be the best. And again, I'm not to compare myself to any other husband. Just I want to be the best husband possible for my wife. No another wife. No what other people will say. No what other people will think about me. Just a specific only to her. For the same thing, I want to be the best father for my three kids, specific to their personalities, not to anybody else, just to them. And then I want to be the best leader possible to the people I get to lead. Again, it's very specific. I'm not getting into names, but the specific people that I get the opportunity to lead. I don't care about other people's leading. I don't care about how other people does leadership. I'm concerned to grow, to get better as a leader, because I just want to lead them the best way possible. And I believe the leadership is influence. So I believe that my influence can make them better and grow, etc. And sometimes when you fall into these specifics, you may be odd. Because, for example, this year, for example, I'm not taking my kid to any sports. And people ask, oh, they're missing out. No, I don't care. They're not missing out. They're not missing out. One day, if they want to do it, they're going to be able to do it. Anyway, if they happen to be good and off, to be professional, well, they will be. But this year, because it's not part of my priorities to really try to make sure they don't miss out in life and they have opportunities, that's not the way I think. My goal right now, those things will come. I know they will come as long as they focus on what I believe things are important to me. And now, usually say, in this, to Christian leaders to grow, and you may think, why God is not a priority for you? Because when you think about from the God perspective, I cannot do any of these things without God being a very important part of every day. It's not that God is not important. It's that when I think about the thing that is important for me to achieve as a person today, those three things are important. And then I ask how I achieve them. And part of how I achieve those things is with a great relationship with God, having my meditation time, having my Bible time, etc. That's how I can reach those things. That's how, doing all these other things. So it's not the other way around, like a list of things that I have to do. No, there's only three things I have to do. I have to be a good husband, a good father, and a good leader. That's the three things I have to do. And then all the things that I have to do to accomplish that, they become as important because they're taking me there. They're taking me there. They're taking me there. And like I said, seasons will change. My kid will grow. This is the season for me to be a good father because I want to be a good friend, have a good relationship with them when they grow up. So now is the season. Tomorrow, when they're all 18 and leave the house and do their own life, I will have a space to find something else that's important for me at that point. So I want to invite you to don't live a balanced life in the idea of having a lot of things to do, but to aim into one specific thing, to lean into one thing, to be odd a little bit. Not to try to be all things for everybody, not to try. Listen, when you're doing it this way, you don't have to learn to say no. It doesn't even cross your mind when somebody asks you. You don't have to even struggle with they don't even ask you. Because they know and you know what is your direction. So right now, that's my direction. Wife, children, leadership. How I accomplish that? Yeah, there's a specific thing that I have to do every day to accomplish that. There's a specific thing that I know I have to do, and that means that I don't gonna have to say no. I get to do the things that only taking me there. They only me taking me there, and there always gonna be some mundane things that you have to do. But as much as you can remove them from your life, because if not taking me there, if not taking me there, why gonna do that? Why gonna do that if it's not taking me to the target? What is the point? People say live with purpose, and I need to discover my purpose. The thing is that you only discover your purpose when you start doing the thing that you care about it, the thing that's important for you. That may be, feeding the poor, and if it's feeding the poor, well, make sure that your whole day is only focused into things that are gonna take you to do that and nothing else. But if you're doing this, you're doing that, and sometimes I feel I love to, the reason because I love to do some things that for some people means look like it's a waste of time. And I love when they see it that way, because to me it's not a waste of time, because it's taking me to these three places that I want to be all the time. And sometimes they can be silly. For example, watching a movie at night on a Friday night, not running around going to sport, and just watching a movie with the whole family and having a great time. Maybe for somebody can look like wasting time, but to me it's taking me toward my target. So I want to invite you, forget about the term balanced life. Instead, to have a balanced life, have an unbalanced life in comparison to anybody else, and be odd, and find those 5 things max that are important to you, and make sure that everything you do from waking up in the morning until you go to bed at night, those things that you're doing are taking you directly turn that target, and forget about everything else. Forget about everything else. You may say, oh, okay, well, you didn't mention church and your involvement in church. You know what is involvement in church at this very moment? In this moment in my life, the important involvement of me in church is not for me to go necessarily learn and grow, because listen, at church you had a great sermon, but you can find those sermons online. You can find a lot of things like that on the internet, and you can grow that way. You have to read the Bible. You have to do the things. The main point to me to go to church right now have to do with my target: wife, children, and leadership. Why? Wife, we have developed great relationship in the church with other people. More important than the sermon, more important than the Sunday morning experience. No, those relationships are more important, and because those relationships are helping me to be a better husband, a better father to my kid. How is helping me in my leadership? Because those relationships are helping me in my leadership as well. So there you have it. So when you have a specific target, it's easy to arrange your day. So for example, I don't work out, I don't exercise because I just want to be super healthy and strong and all that stuff. I really work out because when I'm healthy physically, I get to do the things that I think are important. I can still play tag with my kids in the playground. I can still go ride bikes with my children on the street. I can do all those things. I can go a daily walk with my wife because I'm staying healthy that way. So the target is still there. So all the things that I get to do, they're related to those targets. So the question to you is, when you think about balanced life, what come to mind? If it don't come to mind what I'm saying, please forget about it and start looking for a life. There's no balance. There's no comparison to anything else. But it's a life that you live in such a way that is taking you to the place that you want to be. Don't think that's selfish. Don't think that this is only about you. No, there's a reason why those things are in your heart in a very specific season in life, and those things can change with life. So, right now at this very moment, to me is my family, my wife, and my kids, and my leadership. Tomorrow for you can be other things. Can be position, can be money. You know what? If it's money, it's also not necessarily wrong. But just make sure that you align your life to those targets. Please make sure that you do that. I hope this helped you and bless you to keep growing and moving forward. Have a great week.